Good morning, all. Today I will discuss these three topics. So that is your. So good morning, all. Good morning, students. I am M. Suresh, lecturer in Computer Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Masaptank. So today I will discuss these three topics. That is compare class and structures and creation of objects and declare and access area of objects. Okay. So for the first one is how will you compare classes with the structures, and the second one is how will you create objects for these classes, and the next one is how will you declare and access area of objects. It is not a normal object, it is a group of objects, that is area of objects. So let us go to the first topic, that is compare classes with the structures. So I think you in the C language you already know about structure. So how do you create a structure? That is, you will use this struct keyword, and struct, what is the name of the structure? Student. If you are creating like this, then student will have this roll number, he may have name, and he may have age or marks. Okay, like this I will create this structure. Okay, once the structure is created, then I can create this variable for the structure by using type def. Type def is used to, no need to write struct student every time, just type def struct student. If you mention is as std1, okay, then you can use std1 directly. Okay, type def struct student. Okay, so like this, by using this type def I can define the type. Okay, this is about structure. So whenever you created the struct, how will you create the variable for the struct? Generally we will use struct student s1. Then for this s1, the memory allocated is roll number is, if for example if integer takes 2 bytes, then this is 2 bytes, this is 20, 22, and this is also 2, 22 to 24 bytes. Total 24 bytes are allocated. 4 bytes of memory will be allocated for this struct. But the same thing, if you are using union, then it will take maximum. So what is the maximum? 20 bytes. 20 bytes only allocated. So that is difference between structure and union. But in case of here, we are using this classes. I am comparing with this structure. So a structure is in C++ can be referred to as a user-defined data type possessing its own operations. Keyword for the declaration of struct is just a struct keyword. This is used. A class in C++ can be defined as a collection of related variables and functions encapsulated in a single structure. Okay. So a structure in C++ can be referred as an user-defined area data type. It is a user-defined data type. Even class is also user-defined data type. It will have some data. It will contain some data types, different data types. In case of class, it is also collection of related variables and functions encapsulated in a single structure. Okay, this is the definition. A structure contains one or more data items. A class contains one or more data items and functions. Okay, it also contains functions. Generally used for smaller amounts of data. Whenever the data is small, then we will go for this structure. But whenever we have large amounts of data, then we will go for this class. All the data items are public by default. Okay, if you go for the structure, whatever the variables that are there inside the structure, those are public by default. But in case of class, all the data items are private by default. Okay, data hiding is not possible in case of structures because everything is public by default. So here data hiding concept is not there. But in case of classes, we have a separate concept called data encapsulation and data so we have a concept called data hiding, data encapsulation, which is nothing but hiding the data inside the class. Both the data members and member functions I will tightly coupled and I will store those inside the class. That is called data hiding. Contains no member functions. Here there is no member functions. Actually functions also we can write by using this structure. Actually this point is not correct. It also contain both member functions and it also contains member functions. Objects cannot be created from structure, but objects can be created from classes. And it is a value type, it is a reference type. Okay, object class is a reference type, but structure is a value type. Its object is created on the stack memory. Okay, here we can create objects. Actually those are called variables. Variables can be created for the structure, and objects can be created from the classes. Sorry, its object is created on the stack memory, its object is created on the heap memory. Okay, we will create this object in the heap memory, but in case of structure the objects are created in the stack memory. Only type of data access is public. Okay, only we can access this public data only. Data access can be whatever the data inside that structure, everything is public by default. There is no concept of any access specifier. But in case of structure, we have three different access specifiers, that is public, private and protected. In case of public, everyone can access that particular data, and in case of private, the data can be accessed only within the class. Outside the class no one can access the data. And in case of protected, the data can be accessed by the subclasses. Like here in case of classes, this data can be accessed publicly or privately or protectedly. These three ways are there. But in case of structures, everything is public by default. Okay, so that's why easily everyone can access. So there is no concept of data hiding. But in case of structure, in case of class, we have this data hiding. Okay, because we are mentioning it as private data, so private data cannot be accessed outside the class. It does not support inheritance. In case of structure, it does not support inheritance, but classes supports inheritance. The member variable of structure cannot be initialized directly. Okay, these member variables of the structure cannot be initialized directly. The member variable of the class can be initialized directly using constructors. Okay, there is a concept called constructors. By using those constructors, those member data can be initialized at the time of object creation itself. Okay, that is there in the classes, but it is not there in the structures. It can have only parameterized constructor. In case of structure, we have only parameterized constructor, but it can have all types of constructors. We have different types of constructor. That is default constructor and parameterized constructor and copy constructor. Okay, we have three types of constructors, and we can overload those constructors also. Within a single class, I can have these all different types of constructors, like default constructor without any parameters, or parameterized constructor with parameters, and one more thing is copy constructor, which will take another object as argument. Okay, these three type of constructors are there in case of classes, but in case of structure we have only parameterized constructor. Okay, next, size of empty structure is 0 bytes. If we don't have any members in the structure, then the size of that particular structure is 0 bytes, but size of empty class is minimum, it will take 1 byte. Okay, this is about these classes and structures. Okay, so how will you compare these classes and structures? This one. And next, how will you create objects? Okay, how will you create objects for the class? So an object can be created from the definition of a class. Okay, an object can be created from the definition of a class. Once the class is created, then for the class I can create any number of objects by using the syntax. That is, what is the syntax for creation of object? Just if you have a class test or sample, then how will you create this class will be declared like this, and how will you create object for this class? Just test is the name of the class, and what is the object for this one? Test t1. Okay, this is the object. Okay, but after creating this class, after defining this class, I can create any number of objects like test t1 comma t2 t3, like this. I can create any number of objects. So an object can be created from the definition of a class. A class is a user defined data type. Okay, because by using this class I can create this. Test is acting as a data type, and all these are variables of this test type. So this is also considered a user defined data type, because it is, I am creating my own data type. So that's why this is called user defined data type. Okay, while an object is an instance of the class template. A class provides a template which defines the member functions and variables that are required for objects of that class type. A class must be defined prior to the class declaration. So before we are defining this class, okay, so a class must be defined prior to the class declaration. Okay, so a class provides a template which define, yeah, perfect. A class provides a template which define, okay, class is a blueprint or template which define the member functions. Okay, so it's a predefined, so it will contain both the data members and member functions. Both these data members and member functions are defined inside the class, so it is acting as a blueprint or template. By using this template, I can create any number of objects for the class, so which define the member functions and variables that are required for objects of the class type. A class must be defined prior to the class declaration. So compulsory you have to define this class. Okay. When a class is defined, only the specification for the object is defined. No memory or storage is allocated. Okay. Whenever you are defining a class, only the specification for the object is defined. No memory or storage is allocated for the class. Okay. Whenever you are defining a class, just it is just a specification of the object is defined. Whenever you create object for the class, then only memory will be allocated for that particular object. Okay, so whenever you are defining a class, it does not mean that memory is allocated for those variables and member functions. To use the data members and member functions defined inside the class, you need to create objects. So whatever the data that is inside this class, if I want to use that data, that can be possible only through these member functions. So if I want to access these member functions also, I have to create the object for this class. Okay, we can create the object in any one of the following ways. The first way is, along with the definition, we can create the object. Okay, whenever you are defining the class, at that time also you can create the object. This is the way that is used in the structure. Okay, so like this, I can create the objects like this. Okay, once so what I will do, I have class test. Inside this class test, this T3 is an object. Okay, that is created at the time of class definition itself. Okay, whenever I am defining the class, at that time only I created this object. Okay, class test, data members, member functions. So I am defining this class. Okay, so whenever I am defining this class, at that time itself I can create the object for this class. This is one way. Okay, class, what is the declaration for class? Class, and what is the name of the class? And we have access specifier. We can have three types of access specifiers: public, private, protected. And after that we have data members and member functions. Okay, so class name, we have access specifier, data members and member functions. So for this class we have this at the time of declaration itself. Okay, before the semicolon, every class will be ended with this semicolon. So before that semicolon is ending, we can create the objects. That is your one way. Okay, so class student, public, in the public section I have roll number and string name, and a comma b are the two objects of this class. Okay, here a comma b are the objects of the class student declared along with the class definition. So whenever this class is defined or declared, at the time of declaration or definition of the class itself, I am creating two objects for this class, that is a comma b. Okay, and the second way, we can also create objects after the class definition. Once this class definition is there, okay, this is the another way. Okay, once this class is defined, after definition of that particular class, I can also create the objects. Okay, in this case, the object type as class name and variable is the object. Okay, so what is the object type? What is the data type of that particular thing? Data type of that particular object is nothing but class name, and the variable is the object. So I can create this object in two ways. Okay, first, what is the declaration for the class? Class is the keyword and the name of the class, and access specifier, we have data members and member functions. And next we have how can I create this object for this class? By using name of the class and what is the object variable now. Okay, so this is the two ways. One is class test at the time of class declaration itself. Okay, declaration itself, before the semicolon, I can create any number of objects, t3, t4. These t3, t4 are the two objects that are created at the time of declaration of class itself. Okay, these t3 and t4, these two are the data types that are created at the time of declaration. Okay, so class test data members and member functions, this t3, t4, these are the two objects. Okay, two objects that are created at the time of declaration. Okay. But in case of here, after declaration, after declaring your class, then also you can create these objects. Okay, once this class is declared, after declaration, outside this class, in the main section, I can also create these objects. So this is about creation of objects. Okay, so I can create the objects. So once the class is defined, that is nothing but it's just a template or blueprint. It is like a plan. Okay, before developing any, before constructing any house, first you have to create the template model, that is blueprint, right? That is your class. It is like a class model. Once that model is there, then I can create any number of I can construct any number of houses. That is your objects. So an object is created after class is defined. Okay, but this can be done in two ways. One, along with the definition also we can create the object like this, along with the definition. Okay, once this class is defined, at the time of definition, I can create this class. Okay, this is one way. Before the semicolon, I can create any number of objects. And the second way is, after this definition is over, then I can create by using class name and object name. Okay, these are the two ways. So we will take one example program. So this is your class test. IOStream. In case of C++, we have IOStream.h. So here, what is the name of the class? Class is the keyword, and test is the class is the keyword, and test is the name of the class. And in the private section, we have two data variables. One is the integer type data1, and the next one is float data2. And in the public, so always it is better if you didn't define this private also. By default, all the class members are by default private. So no need to specify it as private directly. This integer, so this integer and float, these two are of what type? These two are of private access, so private data members. Okay, integer and float. Once that data is defined, now I will go for this public section. Okay, in the public so always it is better to define these data members inside the private section, and member functions we can define in the public section. So now I will go for this void function 1. So inside this function 1, always this data cannot be accessed outside the class. That is one thing. Once if the data is declared as private, then private data cannot be accessed outside the class. This private data can be accessed only inside the class. Inside the class also it is not directly accessed. Like I cannot mention data1 equal to 2 like this. Then it will give error. I can only assign the data. Okay, or I can access this data inside the member functions. Member function also I will do like this. And next, float value also function 2, and here we have data2. It is of void type, so I am not returning any value, but it is a float type, so data2 is alerted and we are returning the value. Once everything is clear, so then class test. Okay, so this class test that is ended with semicolon, and in the int main test o1 v2, this is creating object of the class test. But where I am creating the object of this test class outside the class after the class definition. Okay, this is the second way, okay, in which I am creating the object for the class, okay, I am creating the object for the class after class definition. Okay, this is one. So now how can I call o1 dot function 1? Okay, I can create any number of objects. Next, o1 dot function 2, but it is returning, right? So that's why I have to use this cout. So, and I will use getch for displaying. So I will compile this program, showing error. Function 2 is not a member of test. So spelling, I think, mistake. So compiling, done. Function should return a value. So int main I mentioned, so I have to use return 0. Okay, so that's it. I will compile this program. As I didn't mention any clear screen, it is showing 3.5. Okay, I can write clear screen. First, I will compile this program. I will run this code. That's it, 3.5. Okay, so that's it, 3.5. Data 1 float data 2 void function 1 data 1 equal to float function 2 data 2. Okay, I will again compile this program. I will run this program. Okay, so that's it. So this is the first way. Okay, I am creating this object at the time of after definition. Okay, now what I will do is I will o1 I will create like this only, but here I will mention o2. Okay, now I won't call with o1, I will call with o2. I will run this program. Okay, it is also giving 3.5 only, but only thing is I can access in two ways also. That is o1 dot, I am not doing anything, so that's why o1 dot function 2. So now you just see here, because o1 dot function 1 it is not displaying any value. Otherwise you can write here out data 1. Okay, cout data 1, return data 2, o1 dot function 1. So here so in case of okay, so class test1, here class test1 int data1 float data2, these are the two data members inside the class, and function 1 which is used to declare this data1 to some value and it is displaying that value, and this function 2 used to declare data2 value, that is a float value, and it is returning that data2. And here I can create the object in two ways. One is at the time of declaration itself. Okay, like o2 I am creating at the time of declaration. Whenever I am creating this class test at the declaration itself, I am creating o2. And the second way is after this declaration is over, after declaration also I can create by using this test o1. Okay, so I am accessing this by using these two ways. Okay, by using these two ways I can easily call function 1 and function 2 by using these two ways. I am calling these two ways. So I will compile this program. I will run. Okay, so it is displaying. So as I didn't mention any new line, okay, it's better to mention endl is like a slash n. Okay, this function, right? So here it won't hello. I can write over here. Now those values will be will display two times. That's it. Okay. Two. The first two is nothing but o1 dot function one. Two is second two is o2 dot function one, and o1 dot function two will be 3.5. O2 dot function two will be 3.5. Only thing is here. Only thing is I can create this object in two ways. One is at the time of declaration of class. Okay, whenever I am declaring or defining the class, at the time also I can create the object for this class, and another way is after declaration also I can create this object. Okay, that's it. Access these data members and member functions in C++. How will you access these data members? By using object dot operator I am using. Okay, by using this we can access the data members and member functions by using a dot operator, which is also called as member access operator. So this dot is also called, because by using this dot operator only I can access the members, right? So that's why it is called a member access operator. For example, so for example, o2 dot function one. Okay, this will call by using object 2, it is calling this function 1. Okay, and similarly the data member can be accessed by using o1 dot data 1. Okay, like this also I can access. And C++ class and object example. Okay, we take one more example. This is hash include iostream dot h hash include conio dot h. This is not. So I am taking a class, and class is the keyword. And what is the name of the class? Employee class. Inside that employee class, we have three private variables, that is int id and string name. Okay, string is the data type in case of C++. String name and float salary. These are the three data members. All these are private. Even if you declare this as private, you can use the private keyword. Otherwise, if you didn't declare also, that is by default it is a private. And next one is public section. Within the public section, I am using this insert method, which is used to insert the data into these data members, like id equal to I and name equal to n and salary equal to s. And one more function is there that is used to display these values. That's it. And int main function is there. And I'm creating the object for the first class employee e1, and I'm creating the object for the second employee, and inserting those values into those objects. Okay, and I'm displaying those values. That's it. Simple example. So I will take this clear screen. Before if you write get ch, then it will display at the time. So I will save this program. Now I will compile this program. Hash include String, I think I have to write string.h. Cannot write like this. Actually. Character name of 20. Character array. You can use character star. Here also. I don't know with the string data type. We will see once. String greeting. It's there, but I have to include string dot h. I have to write string dot h. Arrange string dot h. Correct only. And this. Okay, we'll see this program later. Okay, anyway, we'll see this program later. Next, array of objects. Okay, how do you declare and create array of objects? Okay, as we know, array is a collection of similar data types. Okay, generally, if I want to create 100 objects for this class, okay, if I want to create 100 objects for this class, then I have to write T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, like this, T100. And if I want to call the data members, then t1.add, t1.getData, t2.getData, t3.getData, t4.getData. If you don't have this array concept, if I want to create 1000 objects, I have to create like this. And if I want to access the data members or member functions inside the class, I have to call individually. But there is a concept called array of objects. Okay, since a class is also an user-defined data type, we can create the array of variables of class type, which is called array of objects. Say by just simply I can create like this. How? T of 100. That's it. So that I can create any number of like 100 objects I can create easily by using this way. This is called array of objects. So the memory occupied by each object is equal to the sum of the memory occupied by its data members. Syntax and declaration of array of object. There is class name and this is class name and what is the object name, and I have to specify the size inside this particular thing. Similarly, the public members of the objects can be accessed by using how can I access? If I have like in the class test, I have two methods. That is, I have a data int a. That is your private data. By default, that is a private data. But inside this public data, there is void get a. This function is there. This is a simple example to write here. Here I can write like in a. Okay, this is class test. So if I want to access this particular get a function, so just I will have int I equal to 0, I less than some 10 objects I want to take, I plus plus. Just how can I call this function? Just t of I dot get. That's it. Okay. So just a simple way to call this function. Okay. Class name. How will you create class name? Normal object. How will you create class name? Object name. But here it is an array of objects, so that's why I will mention the size. Similarly, how these objects will be accessed by using index. So that is object name. What is the object name? T. And what is the index? I. Okay. Or function arguments. Okay. Data name value. Okay. So this is employee of 10.display means this is used to display the 10th employee details. Okay. So I will see one program. Array of objects. Okay. So as include iostream dot h as include conio.h. I'm removing this. And this is class student. Inside that one we have character name. I think better we can use this character name instead of that string. I can use this character name. Okay. Then it would be good. The previous program also it will be easily executed. Character name, roll number, and input. I am taking student name and student roll number and student age. Output I am just displaying. And if I want to create three objects, then S1, S2, S3 I have to write. But by using this array of objects, just I will use like this. Then the first one I have a class, and what is the name of the class? Student. Inside that one I have two. One is the roll number and the age, and the next one is the name. Okay. So by using this input function, I am taking the data. Like I am entering the name, I am taking the roll number, and I am taking the age. And by using output function, I am just displaying the values. So I am creating the objects. So I can create 1000 objects by using S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 like that. But that is a tedious process. If you want to call this input method, then S1.input, S2.input, S3.input, like that. But by using this array of objects, just student name and what is the object name, and in the brackets I have to mention the size. So 3 objects will be created: S of 0, S of 1, S of 2. Okay, because array index starts from 0. So the first student details I will enter the student details by using for loop. So S of I of input means that is nothing but student 1 details, student 2 details, student 3 details, and I am displaying those values. Just very simple. Okay, so I am compiling this program. Here we can write get cs, then it will display as this. So I will compile this program. I will run this program. So enter, because previous I didn't write. Okay, I will enter the first student name, roll number 123, and his age is 23, and student 2. Okay, Raja 345 is the roll number, and his age is 34, and student and 456 and 3. Okay, so these are the displaying student age. So 3 objects I am taking the data, and 3 objects I am displaying. Okay, next this previous program, I don't know why it is not executed. Class, here I will take not this string.h, I will take this as character name of 30, and so here I will take character array. So instead of this character array, I can also use pointer. So pointer will store any number of values. So character star name, and here also star n. Now I won't use this. I have to use this string.h only. What I will use instead of this name, str copy, string copy of, inside this name I will copy this n. That's it. I think it will execute now. Employee details are 201 Raju 90,000. Employee details are 202 Kiran 15,000. Character star array is nothing but character array. So character array will store any number of characters. So I am just replacing that program. That's it. Yeah. So that's it. So in the today's class, what I discussed, 3 important topics. What is the differences between classes and structures? I compared classes and structures, and after that, I discussed what are the ways to create objects. I can create these objects in 2 ways. One is at the time of class declaration itself, and the second way is after class declaration also. And the third way is how will you create an array of objects. It is not it is a group of objects of same class type. Okay, that is what array of objects. If there is no concept of array of objects, I have to create 1000 objects, means T1, T2, T3, T4, like that, T1000 I have to create. But if you have array of objects, that's T square bracket 1000. If I mention like that, then total 1000 objects will be created. That's it. Okay. So with this, I am concluding the today's class. So tomorrow we will see the next topics. Thank you. Thank you all.